tutorial session with the Paintology drawing app available from the Google Play Store. This app it teaches you drawing techniques. It's a little different from other drawing apps, which are full of digital tools to help you draw. But this particular app borrows its from the traditional fundamental art skills, borrows much of that philosophy and puts it into the Paintology app. So essentially, you are training yourself in the creative arts, which has been the mainstay of traditional art. So techniques, you may probably don't know. You probably think it's all based around tools, but the emphasis is not on tools. It's the creation effect, the effects of the drawing that you do with a particular tool set, but the most of the training you see in digital apps always focus around the tools, but not with Pentology. So if you're looking for a good array of tools, then you should check out the other apps. But if you're keen to stay the course of the path and learn like the way I do, and practice and make drawings such as this on the phone, then in like fine art style, this famous Tom Hanks, and you would probably you want to stay on this and do drawings with the Paintology app on your Android device. So here you can see quite a few drawings I've done, and I save it. Most of them you'll find this was done with a line brush. So the techniques I teach you are developing the techniques that are core to creating good drawings, which touches every aspect of art in the form of tones, shapes, volumes, depth, and all things that are relevant to creating good art. This one you did this in an hour and one in a live tutorial done with one brush, and you could do the same as well. So actually no drawing experience required in that sense, is that you build up the technique. So keep following my live tutorials, which I do on a daily basis, and you'll come to appreciate how far you can go with digital drawing and painting. This one, again, it's a live tutorial session you can check out. Yeah. So the one we're going to do is, as you can imagine from the title, similar drawing to this. And I used a different approach to this drawing. Normally it's a white canvas background and then just fill out the colors, but it's not. It's actually, I used the bigger flesh tones of this of Tom Hanks here as a background. You can see here, look, the background is this is his flesh tone, and then I drew with the colors. First of all did the outline, then used my eye to look at a reference image. So you could continue to do this in trace, but I'm going to do the outline first to get the shape and form. I don't want to spend too much time on that, and then develop the tones using the shade brush. So we're going to use the shade brush. So to follow along to this tutorial, this is typically how I draw with my finger, but today I'm making an exception. I'm using a stylus. I just feel a little bit more comfortable drawing the portraits with the stylus. But I've done many drawings with my fingers on portraits, so feel free to use a drawing or your finger or your stylus or a cheap stylus you can get. This is the app where it's on the Play Store, so you can see this is what screenshots. So it's all free. You can download that. And then there are a few other things I want to share before I get started. You have you can do this, join this Google Classroom, which is free to people to, so they can actually learn the techniques and develop it from the ground up. So I put whatever I could to get beginners and absolute beginners on the path towards drawing the way they're using developing these techniques that I show you. And they're all fun. They're not like drilling exercises and all that. The art lessons can be a little bit regimental. These This app was designed to make drawing fun. The journey of drawing should be fun, yeah? So there's a lot of things you can just get onto it. And the description, you'll find the link to the Google Classroom in in the description, and you'll find it in all the other videos. You'll just go down to the bottom and you'll see a list of links, and there should be a link on the Google Classroom. So that's what we have here. And then you can load pretty much any image you want of your choice. And it's really up to you. Oh, yeah, and one more thing that I forgot to mention is that, let's go back here. Let's go here. Is that where is it? The Paintology. Yeah, so go to the home screen of paintology.com. And in order to do this particular lesson, follow along with me. And I know there's some people who would be, and go down to where it says live streams, Google Classroom, Udemy. Click on that, and then you'll come to a page. And here you'll see the 6th September channel, Paintology, and the image. And this is the image that we're going to use for our drawing. So you can go to that if you've already installed the app. All right, so let's go ahead and fire away. I've already downloaded the image. Where is it? Down here. There he is. Okay, so we have him. So obviously, I don't need to introduce this famous, world famous person, Sharuh Khan, who's made so many movies and made everyone very happy with all these movies he's made. He's one of the richest, I think, actors in the world, the top 10 somewhere. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do. First of all, before you do any drawing, you should really pay attention to what the drawing is. Now, I'm looking at this drawing. I'm looking at this image, and two ways you can look at this image. Number one, you can say, well, this is of course recognizable Sharu Khan, and then you say, oh yes, and then all these memories flood back to the last time you saw his movie or something like that, perhaps. And then secondly, when you're an artist, you're looking at this picture a bit differently. When I look at it as the initial state for drawing, I would first say, well, yeah, he's got really dark tones on his hair. It's black, and obviously it's very dark, and he's got tones around the eyes, fairly dark. And then you can see that when you look at a portrait, he's got a mustache, and then his shirt, they're a bit dark, mid dark, and he's got very light tones. And you know where these light tones are usually the light that glances off the protrusion of the nose and the side here, and then the lips, slight tones there. And then you can see that on the first face, there's subtle tones around. So we're trying to capture that in the drawing. But again, like I said, I'm going to first start by picking a flesh color that is probably the main flesh color. And I'm thinking, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, oh, don't forget to put it in grayscale mode, all right? And then I'm basically using the shade brush. So let's pick a tone that I think about here. So I picked a grey tone, right? So now, and then all I do is undo, use the undo, and then I pick bottom left, I click on that. Oops, not that. Okay, get rid of that. Please go away. Takes time, yeah. And then let's see if that grey tone can be transferred. Yep, there it is. So this grey tone has been transferred to there. Let's go here. Okay, so that's the grey tone of the canvas. So you have to select that in order to move ahead. And now, so I'm following the step I did yesterday. So I'm thinking I enjoyed that so much I should show it to the folks in the channel. So I've got that now. Got the dark background color. You can see when I move slide back and forth on my trace bar, and I'm going to do an outline. So what would be a good outline? Well, we got this. We need a lighter tone for the outline. That's not very clear, is it? So let's go all the way down. Yeah, I think that's all right, isn't it? We need a lighter tone. We can't, or possibly a complete black tone. Let's see what the black tone looks like. Yeah, that's also doable, isn't it? I think that's all right. Let's do the black tone then. Let's put it a little less black. Okay, and then above the halfway line, and then we do the outline. So away we go, right? And then we don't need to set it exactly. We just need to set it where we can see our drawing and our trace drawing and his the underlying image that we're trying to draw. Okay, just go randomly. Yeah, and I'm just put it in a position where I can see. If you're obviously in a dark, doing the dark hair, you want the trace bar to go down a little bit, and then follow his hairstyles, the direction. Look, I'm following the direction, and then you may find a little bit uncomfortable initially as you begin. That's all right, you know. You get better and better, and that's what you should keep in mind. And the reason why many people give up is they have far too many high expectations because they've been watching too many good artists, and they also feel that they should somehow magically belong to that, or they're missing out essential things that are crucial to drawing, and that's why you're here. You're going to learn these techniques, and then even though I'm reasonably good at drawing, I never put my legs up and say, "Yep, I've achieved all there is to achieve." How boring would that be, isn't it? I'm always learning, trust me. So just quickly go over it. Don't worry about the details. The beauty of drawing is that it's all under your control. Everything is under your control. Right? So quick, gentle strokes. Stick to the same brush, and you know that's his tash. He's got, and then once you've done the outline, you'll be surprised with how quickly you'll be able to put the rest of the tones. So again, this is something new that I haven't done, and I love experimenting, and Paintology allows me to experiment. So I hope you can see that the power of the phone is, you cannot dismiss the power of the phone, because a lot of people think the phone, what is this small miniature device, and everyone thinks to do digital drawing you need to hook it up to the very sophisticated Photoshop. Sketch and all these tools. I mean, that's fine. But if you want to draw and just sake of drawing like you did in traditional, you don't really want that. That's such expensive. And if you want to draw vector graphics illustrations, then yeah, you could think about using this. But if you're just purely here, it's in the eyes, so I just took it down a little bit. If you want to do fine art like I'm doing here, then this is the most natural, comfortable way of drawing. See, I picked the shade brush and I haven't yet gone to the tools yet. Whereas if you did any other, you'd be constantly just accessing the tools. Okay, very quickly, just to show where the shape is, because I'm gonna, after I've done this, I'm gonna, see, this helps you to pick out shape, form, and the tones. It really does, honestly. It's the best way of learning. I would say it's better than learning in traditional because you have these wonderful tools, and this is also going to help you in improving your traditional art if you're into that. So I do both traditional, but lately, my focus has been on, as you can imagine, on digital. So that's what I do primarily. So let's see what we have here. Look at that, how quick that was, right? That's what you can do with when you have tools. So it's got that beard. So we're just gonna add just have that beard there. Just got that beard. And then he's got that beard underneath the chin. And then here. Okay. Then he's got this. So yeah, just to let you know that I'm actually very good with Photoshop, but everyone keeps talking digital drawing has to be done with the best tools. I mean, that's silly. I mean, when you go start drawing, do you go for the best pencil that you can buy somehow magically think it's going to transform your drawing? No, you have to learn. Oops, do you know what I did? You have to learn. I was got the habit of, can you believe it? I got into the habit of picking the, so here. So I've always, even with the acrylics, and I'm very good at acrylic painting, large canvases, and I still stick to this student quality. They call it student. Don't know what it is. Then they have this other professional grade. Apparently you get more pigments, but I always compensate for it whenever I need. It's all in the painting, isn't it? And I've done some good paintings, just this basic set of tools. So, people rush in digital. Oh, gotta have Procreate, gotta have this. That's only because that's all you're hearing from the crowd. If you really want to learn, you really need to look at all avenues. Don't just listen to them. The majority of the crowd are beginners. They're not seasoned, and they're just gonna sound like a broken record, the same thing. It's funny because I've written because I've noticed that a lot of Android users were looking for Procreate on Android. I wrote an article on why, you shouldn't be, there isn't an official Procreate on Android because they don't support Android. If they did, it would be on their site. So I did my research, found out that no, they don't. Procreate it's not on Google. And then so I recommended Paintology. And then, but I talk a lot about these scam apps, so not to fall for that. And everyone was very thankful. And that it got massive amounts of hits. So it just goes to show how people just flock to the herd community. So let's see what we have here. Okay, look at that. It almost looks like him, doesn't it? Let's do his left eye, right? Because we did his right. So let's get that going. Let's see what we have. Let's use a smaller brush. Okay. Much better, isn't it? Okay. So we have almost, oh, we haven't done the collar. We could have done it afterwards, but for the sake of completion, isn't it? We should finish that. Okay, don't get too carried away by being too accurate. Just there. What we got here? All right, there it is. Looks like his bear, isn't it? I think he likes to show off his chest a little bit. Let's have a look. All right, there. What do we have here? That's it. There, look. Now, that's not finished yet, but you could say that was a good start because it's given you an idea of the sense of the improvements you can make, right? So we're going to save this, and I'm going to now transfer to the, so let me save this outline, right? OUT. I hope I've spelt it right, but anyway. Okay, so now we're going to go back. We've saved this, so we go back home. Discard because we've saved it. And then we go here and pick up this image. So we are no longer, you can see, I don't have the what do you call it, the trace bar at the top. This is in overlay mode. And in overlay mode, it just simply means that the drawing is not behind a trace bar, but it is simply there for you. So I've just got my laptop open, and now I'm gonna start looking at the reference image of the laptop, zooming in and out to get to the details. So I'm gonna start off naturally with his hair, right? So his hair is really black, so let's go back to the shade, just put a bigger color in, and let's see. Still at 100%. Don't worry about hardness. I'm just looking at the image and doing the black where I find the black. Then just do it like a pencil, isn't it? So much like a... And then I'm still following the hairline. right there, and I've got it 5%. You can take any image, work in grayscale mode. This hair is going that way, so that's what we're doing. Right, simple as that, nothing. Right, so it's a drawing process, which I talk about in some detail. So we build it up. It's probably one of the reasons why it's on digital apps all show off their layers using layer, because most users demand it, because they're so driven by the tools. It becomes a requirement, and it's not really required. If you want to draw, you've got techniques you can develop manually, and then when it comes to making drawings like that, a lot faster. It is a lot faster, believe me, because you get speed, you develop speed, and when you're doing tools, what happens? You gotta stop your drawing, go to a tool, select it, come back to it, then go stop your drawing, go to another tool, select it, and then you have to work with how the tools are constrained. For example, blending, and I'm going to show you how we do his blending on his forehead. Here, let's look. So I'm looking at his forehead and I'm thinking, what has he got? Because remember, we picked a fairly dark grey tone compared to Tom Hanks I showed you earlier. So I'm going to use this. Let's put this here. Oh, here. So I'm going to use this grayscale here to select the tones. I've got it at 10.5. Is that, you may ask, is that a dark tone? Is that a dark tone? Yeah, I mean, that's some of his forehead ridges that goes on there. And then I could say it's probably probably needs to go a little lighter. I mean, it's light here. So we're just going to work our way like that. Right? Give the sense of light forehead. Look at that. See? It's sort of like a negative way of working. Look, it's not so dark there. So you need to reduce that. This is where you get your appreciation of tones improves drastically. And look at that, I've got a bigger brush and I'm working. That's a bit too sorry about that there. And then notice we got neutral this. Ooh, this picked up the wrong color actually. There's something I've got to improve on that. Trust me, that's in the pipeline. Now look, we're basically just using the sense of light, and you can see there's some light tones. Maybe take that notch down. Right, look at that. Just we're clearing away and putting light tones to his forehead, giving it more depth. See, these are all tones, and tones is what gives depth. And this, I'm showing you how tones are working here. Look, it's got this light tone, right? Look at that. Like just a little bit here. And then, so your appreciation of your tones increases dramatically. Let's look at that. You can see there's already some depth created, but we haven't got that white right. The white on the forehead is almost like a ray of light that's coming and hitting that particular forehead on his left side. This is the essence of drawing. The essence of drawing is to be able to take each step of the drawing to another level, then improving on it, take it to another level, then improving on it, which means that this is what beginners fail to appreciate. They feel that they don't have the techniques or the skills, so they constrain themselves to the digital tools, and as a result, they will become fairly dependent on the digital tools, and they won't be able to create artwork like this because they're highly dependent on it. And with when you have techniques, you see I'm developing techniques, and using the brush, just the shade brush, and just changing the brush size, so you can see how much you can do with one brush. So we're not there yet, but right now you can see that I would not understand or appreciate how to go to the next step, because you've seen my drawings, how they come to be like this, and you're scratching your head thinking, how's that possible? That doesn't even look like digital drawing. Well, it was all done by hand, isn't it? So this tells me that, yep, I got the white there. So here is what's happening with your brain. You're saying you got the white there, and now your brain is tuned to think that that white shade that you have on this forehead does not work with the tones that you are seeing on a reference picture. So you automatically will in the future lower that and become more tuned to the tones that are on reference image. So you're training your memory and your brain. Okay, so let's just continue and say, well, we've got these colors. Let's see. Just look at the tones. Just build up the tones. I can see white tones there. Right, I'm just using a little bigger brush than normal. So just look, there's always some tonal variation going on here. And then there is naturally this tone there. And then this tone which we have done here. And then can we do anything in that? Yep, we can see that there is tones here. It's a little bright, it's a little bigger, especially when it comes to do the detail features, right? So we'll take it down, and then we can see that we have greater little dark tones here, and then we have a little gray tone there, and then a darker tone here, and then a little dark tone to give the impression that this is, so you can see how big the brush is, right? Then we can improve on that. So you might want to practice with this this tones on his cloth, but I wouldn't do it on his on the clothes that he's wearing, the jacket and shirt. But we won't do that. Let's focus on his face, right? And then keep doing it, and trust me, as you keep doing it, your brain starts tuning into tones like you've never seen before. So I've got the laptop image, and then I'm just simply going to change the brush to start working on that beard and the lips area. So it's really dark. Okay, I can see it's really dark, so I'm gonna just go quickly. Right, I'm not too bothered. Look around the perimeter of the beard. It's actually quite dark. Look at that. I'm using random strokes, nothing else. It's like a cross-hatching strokes. And it's a little brighter, and I can see that it falls off. The darkness falls off because there's light on the other side, yeah? And then I've got 3.35%, and then you could decide, well, what can I do with this? And can continue, do as much as you can of the air. It looks black here. And even I can start seeing that when it comes to the mustache, this is really thick. I mean, thick brush, meaning it's a bigger brush size than I would prefer, but again, I'm just trying to cover areas as well really quickly. And then we remember we can go over this area again. That's the beauty of it. We don't do little spots at a time. We come back to it. And then you can see he's got his lips. I'm going to try and tackle his lips. And I'm thinking his lips are about here, probably, in terms of the way I can, let me just see. Yeah, I think that's all right. Let's do that for now. And then he's got something going on here. Then he's a little, the upper lip is a little darker, especially around where it meets the lower lip. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then just keep operating. And then here you can see we have a very light tone at the lower lip here. So that's what we're doing. And then we have another tone here. And then we have this little bit of brightness here. So we're going to increase that. It's really fun, actually, I have to admit. I haven't drawn with negative space like this, which means that, you know, it's like trying to take away the gray tone and work with there. Let's see what that looks like. Oh wow, it's coming together, isn't it? But we can improve on that, so it's not too bad, okay? So now what we can do is we can start doing the rest of the face, and then we'll go towards the eyes, yeah? So let's save that. You see, the whole idea of me doing a tutorial is like, I'm going to show you from start to finish a drawing that you can do, yeah? So what we have here, we got this this white shade coming down here, right? And then dark shade, just lift it up. And then what we have here, we've got some bit of dark shade there on this side, and then a bit more maybe going towards his eyes there, yeah? And then we have a little dark shade here that's coming. It's a good brush, so there's 7%, so you should keep that in mind. And then maybe just lift that up. And then we have this darker shade around the nose here. And then obviously a little darker around here. But remember, the brush size is a bit big, so you need to keep that in mind. And we're not doing the details yet. I'm just putting down the shades that I see. This is a real exercise in your appreciation of the dark tones by doing that, okay? So we're just adding volume here, you can see? Not worried about the details yet. Just one and that. And then we can see here that we got quite a little bit of the white shade here. Right. This here just comes up here. You can see the shape now is shaping up. Then even though it's so subtle, you can still see that here and then here. Let's see here, right? Then here. I'm just, look, what I think is happening, I am basically trying to replicate. So here, okay, so let's see what we have here. Look at the subtlety of that, isn't it? That really adds subtlety to all of that, and then you just need to keep working on it and just take away dark gray. Remember, this was originally dark, and look, you can see that that needs just too much white, otherwise it looks like his face is from another planet, isn't it? Look at that. Then there. Just keep doing it. I can see why I prefer to use it, because I can see the changes happening relative to the whole face. If I use the stylus. Right, look. It's very easy, isn't it? Okay. So now you're probably thinking, oh, now can you see his nose has got, now I'm going to take it down a bit because we don't want it too big. His nose is apparently got a little notch here. In fact, go down a bit. There, and then it's got a little bit of white. Very quite, and then it's got a little bit of white around here. That's a little bit of white under here. Then here. Then here. Okay, look, depth already, isn't it? You're probably like surprised with so little depth, and almost like the illusion of photorealism, isn't it? And you'll know when you can really get into photorealism after you've trained yourself in this method of drawing. Let's save this. Okay, so now the eyes. Of course, this is the part that we've all been looking forward to, right? So here, take it down 2.5 if you're using, and then if you're using the trace, then you can alternate. I don't have the trace bar, but you can alternate. But right now I'm using a reference image that's just shown here. Okay. I'm referring to a reference image. Nothing I can take that down. You think, wow, what you can do with such a tiny brush. Right, so here, right, and then just while you've still got that brush, just add the darkness where it matters, right? And don't worry about anything else. Keep your focus on what you're doing. Right there. And then here on the right eye, again, look at it. My eyes are flicking back and forth from the reference image. It's got real dark here. So like that. Then you can see that it's got a little bit of darkness here. And then there is some that darkness here. And then we can come back to it. It's really fun, I have to admit. I'm not a realist. I can see why people want to draw portraits. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Look at that, with such little effort, isn't it? It's amazing what you can do with such little effort. So here we can, while you still have it, I'm going to show you this is a 1.8% brush, right? Look, I'm going to now refine the hair a bit more because I already got a pre-selected brush. And I'm going to add hair strands, you know, the black hair that he has, the lovely black hair, yeah? And then we're at 1.8%. So just take it a notch higher. We're all the way to the black because it's really intensely black, isn't it? Let's save that in case something crops up here. Right here. As you see, the power of the phone, you'd be amazed, isn't it? I sort of started this like a year ago when I realized, instead of when I was using more of the tablet, and then I realized the phone is as equally powerful. Excuse me. Excuse me for a second. Hello there. Sorry about that. It's a quick. Okay, so just go here. And then you know what? I found that you could actually use the just let's giving it a hair, right? You could actually use the line brush for the hair because it is so, but I'm not going to here. I'm just going to show you the method of making quick drawings, quick portraits on your phone. So you could quite easily just do a nice portrait of your mother, father, friend, and then send it to them like that. Isn't that so lovely? Take a picture and just send it. And then do it like this, of course. You need to do this, right? All right, so what have we got here? Now, we've done a second round of the hair, and we can now start focusing on, I feel like I need to focus on those eyes again, yeah? And then we've got a smaller brush compared to before. Let's save that. And you can't see me, but I'm zooming in to the actual reference image on there so I can get more detail, right? And then I might need to reduce it 1.8%, and then basically just shape the eye as you see, exactly as you see. Nothing, I'm not doing anything different. Exactly as I'm seeing what's in that, you know, what it appears. Look, so this is darker, right? Now, you can see there that he's got some there. Yeah, add a little bit of depth there, and then we can see that he's got more Remember, it's not white, all the way white, even though it appears white, but it's not. It will look odd if you make it too white. You'll find that from experience. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got this. Let's do that these little wrinkle marks after all. He's done years of acting, so that's taken its toll, isn't it? And then notice that this one's got nice, lovely white there. Just add that in there and a little bit of white. And then it's got lovely little white marks here. So that's all I'm doing. I'm shaping it, zooming in, and that's why you're able to make photorealistic drawings. Honestly, there's nothing difficult about that. You can get into these tiny details that's not possible with traditional. So here, and then here. Then here, just it's all about marks, nothing more. There's nothing difficult about drawing. It's all about tones. So I can pick this color if I want to retreat this color a little bit according to the shape. Then we'll go back here. So here, and then we come to his left eye now. Finish his left eye. But before I do that, let me show you what I did to his right. Look at the difference his right eye has did just with a little bit of effort, you know. That just made a whole world of difference, isn't it? Now let's go to the, in fact, I'm going to save this for reference. Okay, so we go here, and now the same thing, you know, you follow the same logic you used previously, just going in, adding the dark details. This hasn't selected the dark tone, sorry. And now the same thing. Remember we had remember it's under the eye. It's actually dark. You get really close to the details. And then you got the white here. If we just take that. Then I got the black here. Oops, a bit too much, I think. I think we'll take that, retreat this a little bit. The pupil is going too far. Yep, that's fine. And then take that, and then take this here. Alright, see that? Just add these marks, and you may think that these marks have no bearing, but it does in the overall things. And here, so we got that little bit here, just take that, take that, and then we got this, and then we got some that, okay. And then let's see if we've got it equal. Yeah, we sort of managed to make it equal, isn't it? Maybe the color. So what we can do is use the color picker and pick the right white tone, and then say, you know what, you're not white enough, so we're going to make you whiter, and then it will look uniform, right? Make sense? Probably. Yes, I think it's all right. Now, what we're going to do is, let's do the ears, the left ears. Since we're using a small brush, we're really tuning into the details here. So we've got that white here. So we've got the white here. And then let's pick the dark here. Yep, here. Then here. Okay. And his skin is not as grey as here, as I can see from here. Yeah, we have to work on this. I'm sorry. So got that. All right, let's see if we've got good. Yeah, I think that's all right, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's okay. Now let's do his nose, around his nose. It's like, don't overdo it, you know. Just, you're basically practicing. Every drawing should be a practicing exercise. Shouldn't be the last. It shouldn't be like, yep, I've perfected it. There's no such thing as perfecting it. Perfecting a drawing. And then look at his nose here. You can see I've got to really take that down. Almost to 1.5. And then I'm looking at his nose and I can see the details that I need to capture. It's particularly like there's some like dark tones here. And then it's going towards a light tone, sort of a white tone that forms the perimeter. Yes, there it is, right? And then as I'm looking at it, I can see there are tonal variations going on. And then I could increase that and really do localized tonal changes that I'm seeing here. Then here. Then I'm seeing a color here, tone color. Very subtle. To be very honest with you, it's extremely subtle. And then I'm thinking I can see a perimeter of the nose, which I pick here, and I can see it's dark underneath here. And then I can see that going up here, and then it's slightly dark, and then a little bit there, and then I can see little jets of white here. There, and then I can see, gosh, black man's here the black of his tash. Maybe I went too far to his top lip here. So let's just clear that. There, can you see it's just really black standing out? And then have we got this right? I think we have. Yeah, and then here I can see we need to do a bit of work here. And then we have a sort of darker shade here. And then you see how you pick these shades, all about tones. The greater you have control of these tones, the greater you will be able to pull it off. Right, look at that, it's a shade here, and then I'm going to increase the brush so it doesn't look like too choppy. Yeah, there, look at that, how we've achieved that. Then we go here, get that white here, and then a bit of the dark there, so it's coming out a little bit. And then a bit dark here. And then that's what we have here. Yeah, it's better, isn't it? Look at how that nose is now coming alive, isn't it? It's popping out of that, of the actual image, isn't it? So let's, what should we do now? Well, we could probably, while we're still zoomed in, we should finish that lips, isn't it? Those lips, yeah? The famous lips. So how can we do that? Well, we've got to select a small brush right here, and then remember we could just, if you feel that you can go with this brush, finish the rest of that this tash. So dark, isn't it? I think it definitely colors this tash. So that's my guess. Because it's too dark for it to be natural. I think. Okay. Right. So what we're going to do here is let's pick that, then just retreat that, because that's the shape of his lips, and it's going to say a lot about his lips if we don't get it right. So we got the small brush, and now I can see that in between there it's really dark. It's actually quite dark, and it even requires more. You see how your brain becomes so tuned. Yeah, there. And it goes here. It doesn't end there, it just goes. Let's see what it looks like. Yes. Goes here, and then go there, pick that black color, that the tash. The tash he's got, which is a little bit less towards the top lip. And then see if we can do anything with that. Let's take that back. I think his, I would say his top lip looks all right now. Right now it's lower lip. Let's see. That there. And then we got a little bit of the white going on here. Then the dark here. And let the white here. And then we have that banding, sort of a little banding that's going on here. a little darker around here. I'm just following the features and trying to replicate what I can. And then I can see these little marks that, oops, look at that. Yeah, that's what happens when I got to pay attention. So now just cross-hatching. Oh, gosh. All right, so here, and then here. Just the markers that are going across. And then what do we have here? We've got, let's pick that, and then it's actually just going in that tash here coming. And I have all right, so let's see what we have here. Is his lips looking good? Yes, I think it is, isn't it? Okay, so now we need to, we'll try and finish it off. I don't want to spend too long, but you can see where I'm going with this, and you can see here there is a little brush here. Can you see that? That is not looking as I would have liked to. So we can diffuse that area, okay? Simple. Alright, and then we got some darker areas here. It's not like quite, that give the impression there. And then of course, here's this famous forehead. So we pick the adjacent color, increase it, and then pick that adjacent color. Look at the color. And then pick something somewhere in between. So we'll go here and just take it out, okay? Now it won't look like he's landed with something on his forehead, isn't it? There, much better, isn't it? And then you might even want to go a little bit. Okay, so now what we want to do is just finish it off with touching up. His hair could be a little bit better, but I'll do that at the end. Just finish off his coat with the tone, a big brush size, right? And then let's pick a tone like this. He's got like just put a little bit of tonal variation. In fact, I'm gonna actually make it darker and then make his shirt lighter. So I think he's got the wrong dress, wrong coordinates for that. So this is what I'm gonna do. Make that darker, then make his shirt a little lighter here. Very quickly, nothing, no big deal. Same, and go on the other side. I mean, compared to his face, this is like the least important thing that you'd need to do, but we need to do his chest as well, yeah? So pick the color that we picked there for his jacket. Let's make it darker. Right there. Then let's increase that. We don't want to spend it all day. So his jacket's darker. So that's what we're gonna do. Dark jacket. Let's see what he looks like. Yeah, I think that's better, isn't it? And with his darker jacket and his somewhat darker jacket there. Then we're gonna put his dark jacket there. Right, and then now let's get his since we got a larger brush, maybe reduce it down a bit. We're gonna get his shade for his chest, you know, because it's got some slight muscular skeletal features here, right? And then of course his Adam's apple, right, just quite distinct here. Then just bring that. Then it's got some dark here, then some here, and then here, and then here. Just lay down the first. Don't worry about and then we can see what we look like here. So yeah, that looks like he's got a hairline. So we're gonna keep shifting that. Is now we're not gonna diffuse that. Okay, that's it. And then take the skin back or something, and then show his that. And then it's definitely got a little bit lightness here. So not too much lightness, just a tab to give the impression that its skin could look here. So it goes here, and here, and then it goes light here. Then a little bit light here. All right, let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's better, isn't it? So now let's clean up these edges here. So let's clean up the edges. Notice we haven't even used the hardness. That's a whole new world together, right? Right there. Okay. Then we have just see that, and then just make it get away with the minimum you can do. Don't overdo it. The minimum time you can spend, so it just looks good. That's it. You know. What is that here? Don't know what that is. Right, then we have just might have been wrong actually with choosing the stock color, the least dark color. Maybe he does have a good sense of the wardrobe, unlike me. All right. Okay. Then a little bit of that to show the outline. And let's see what we have here. Yes, I think we can get away with that. All right. Is there some kind of a... Would you say there would be a chin? Because there's obviously is... You know, there's usually a floating color base around the bottom of the chin. Just wondering if that's needed here. Yeah. Okay. Just to show that there is depth under his chin right here. That's it. Yeah. Well, there you are then, isn't it? I think we can call it a day, but before I do that, I'm just going to define some of the outlines here. Better, isn't it? All right. So I'm going to just finish it just like that. Take that brush size and call it finished. What do you say? See, I'm much better in handwriting when I'm using a stylus. Okay, Paintology. There you are. So what we have this drawing, and I've shown you what you can do with it. Oh, by the way, I forgot one thing here, right? This is what you can go a little bit because of the white areas. Like add a little bit. Yeah, see that? How that makes a difference. Right. So it's not the best of hair, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind, would he? Yeah, since we've done a nice, pleasant drawing of him and a more replica of what it looks like on the phone, right? So there you have it. So here is what shows that the power of techniques. Techniques are all what that you need to make a good drawing. And if you start contemplating in terms of using brushes, well, using tools in digital, then really you'd be one scratching your head what tools have been used for this drawing. And you know what? We used one brush, and then we happily went along drawing over an hour using the same brush, just like in pencil and paper. But you have a lot more capabilities than you imagine. So please subscribe and set notifications. And so because I do daily updates with live streams and also push many shorts and videos that you can check out. And of course, you know, the Paintology app, excuse me, for Android users. So I hope to see you again soon, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.